Look at the physical density of a modern enterprise network. Thousands of endpoints, servers, and devices generate pulsing bursts of traffic every single second. If network administrators had to manually assign IP configurations to each of those endpoints, the operational overhead would invite failure. Human error creates configuration drift, and a single typo can result in broad IP conflicts that disrupt critical hardware. The Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, or DHCP, is an application layer protocol engineered explicitly to automate this manual process. It functions as an automated, centralized intelligence layer. Instead of an administrator manually configuring a machine, DHCP provisions endpoints the moment they connect. At the enterprise scale, network automation is a prerequisite for manageable growth. The foundational rule of the TCP/IP model is strict. To communicate across a network, a device must possess a mathematically valid IP configuration. This creates a logical problem. A new device needs an IP address to communicate with the network, but it must communicate with the network to request that IP address. Upon initial connection, a client possesses only a hardware-level MAC address. Without an IP, the device is invisible at Layer 3. DHCP bypasses this paradox by executing a specific sequence of Layer 2 and Layer 3 broadcasts. It acts as the essential bridge, taking a physically connected piece of hardware and transforming it into a fully integrated network citizen. DHCP resolves the bootstrap paradox through a precise four-step execution protocol known as the DORA state machine. This diagram illustrates the first step, discover. The unconfigured client sends a radial wave broadcast to locate any available DHCP server. The packet architecture requires a specific structure to function without an identity. The client uses a source IP of 0.0.0.0 and targets a destination broadcast IP of 255.255.255.255. The DHCP server receives this broadcast, evaluates its available pool of addresses, and formulates a response for the second step, offer. The server replies with a payload containing a proposed IP address, a subnet mask, a default gateway, and a DNS server. At this microsecond, the IP address is reserved by the server. It is not yet officially assigned to the client. The network has proposed an identity, but the protocol requires mutual consent to prevent configuration collisions across environments with multiple DHCP servers. We reach the third step, request. To finalize its configuration, the client must explicitly accept the offered identity. In large topologies, a client might receive simultaneous offers from different DHCP servers. When this happens, the client algorithms select one offer and discard the others. The client sends its request as a broadcast rather than a direct unicast. This informs the chosen server of acceptance, while instructing any unselected servers to immediately return their offered IPs back to the available pool. The final step is acknowledge. The chosen DHCP server finalizes the database binding of the requested IP address to the client's physical MAC address. The DORA sequence is complete. The node now possesses full TCP/IP routing capabilities. Through these four sequenced steps, a piece of hardware executes a mechanical, logical handshake to bootstrap its own digital identity. The IP address granted by the DORA sequence is never permanently owned by the client. It is strictly leased. IPv4 addresses are finite resources. Networks must constantly reclaim addresses from transient devices to prevent total pool exhaustion. This circular progress tracks the lease state machine, which governs address reclamation, starting with the T1 timer. When exactly 50% of the allocated lease duration expires, the client quietly attempts a unicast renewal directly with its original DHCP server. If the server is active, it acknowledges the request and resets the lease timer back to 0, maintaining uninterrupted connectivity for the client. The T1 timer operates as a silent maintenance protocol, securing stability in the background without flooding the network with unnecessary broadcast traffic. But an enterprise system requires failovers. What happens if the original DHCP server is offline or unreachable during the T1 renewal attempt? The client retains the IP address and continues operating until it hits the T2 timer threshold at 87.5% of the lease. Entering the T2 rebinding state triggers a broader search. The client abandons its direct unicast strategy and blasts a broadcast request to the entire network, requesting any available DHCP server extend the lease. If the timer reaches 100% without a network response, the client's operating system instantly strips the IP address from its interface, terminating all TCP/IP communication. Facing total expiration, the disconnected client returns to the beginning and restarts the entire DORA broadcast process. These precise timers ensure the network remains self-cleaning. The system reclaims address space from inactive nodes, preventing any single device from permanently hoarding vital resources. We must shift our focus from the mechanics of the state machine back to the actual payload delivered during the initial DORA handshakes. This data table illustrates DHCP options used to inject routing rules directly into a client's operating system. Options 1 and 3 deliver the subnet mask and default gateway. Options 6 and 15 provide the DNS and domain name, resolving external web traffic. Advanced configurations utilize options 66 and 67 for pre-boot execution environments, instructing bare metal clients on how to locate TFTP servers and download operating system images. DHCP options transform the protocol into a provisioning tool. It injects the entire operational context into a node the millisecond it connects. The process begins with a disconnected MAC address broadcasting into the void and ends with a fully negotiated temporary identity. The DORA sequence operates as a logical solution to the problem of initial network entry. The automated reclamation cycles of the T1 and T2 timers serve as the network's background pulse, protecting finite address pools through scheduled maintenance. Without this specific application layer protocol, managing modern digital infrastructure, from a localized office floor to a global data center, would be logistically unmanageable. Mastering networking requires looking past the physical cables to the unseen state machines that allow digital ecosystems to govern themselves.